Boris Nikolaevich Yeltsin, a pivotal figure in Russian history, played a central role in the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the establishment of the Russian Federation. His journey from a provincial party functionary to the first democratically elected president of Russia is a tale of political acumen, bold reformist zeal, and personal resilience. Boris Yeltsin was born on February 1, 1931, in the village of Butka, in the Sverdlovsk Oblast of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, RSFSR. His early life was marked by hardship and political repression. During Stalin's Great Purge, Yeltsin's father, Nikolai Yeltsin, was arrested and sentenced to hard labor. These experiences of repression and hardship in his formative years likely shaped Yeltsin's disdain for authoritarianism and his later drive for reform. Despite these early setbacks, Yeltsin demonstrated remarkable resilience and determination. He excelled in his studies and in 1955, graduated from the Ural Polytechnic Institute in Sverdlovsk with a degree in construction engineering. His technical education and managerial skills were instrumental in his early career, providing him with a foundation for his ascent within the Communist Party. Yeltsin's political career began in Sverdlovsk, where he joined the Communist Party in 1961. He quickly rose through the ranks, gaining a reputation for his efficiency, dedication, and willingness to tackle corruption and inefficiency. By 1976, Yeltsin had become the first secretary of the Sverdlovsk Regional Committee of the Communist Party, effectively the governor of the region. His tenure was marked by significant infrastructure projects, including the construction of large industrial facilities and housing complexes, which earned him a reputation as a capable and dynamic leader. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev, the new General Secretary of the Communist Party, brought Yeltsin to Moscow to spearhead his reformist agenda. Gorbachev's policies of perestroika, restructuring, and glasnost, openness, aimed to modernize the Soviet Union and make its political system more transparent. Yeltsin was appointed the head of the Moscow City Party Committee, placing him in charge of the capital and its vast resources. However, Yeltsin's tenure in Moscow was fraught with tension. His aggressive push for more rapid and radical reforms clashed with the conservative elements within the party. He criticized the slow pace of change and the privileges enjoyed by the party elite, which made him a polarizing figure. In 1987, after a series of public confrontations with senior party officials, Yeltsin was removed from his position and demoted to a lesser role in the construction ministry. Despite his demotion, Yeltsin remained a popular figure among the public, who saw him as a champion of the common people and a critic of the entrenched party elite. His political fortunes revived in 1989 when he was elected to the Congress of People's Deputies, representing Moscow with a sweeping majority. This new legislative body was part of Gorbachev's attempts to introduce elements of democracy into the Soviet political system. In 1990, Yeltsin made a decisive break from the Communist Party, resigning his membership and positioning himself as a leader of the reformist movement. His bold actions resonated with a populace increasingly disillusioned with the communist regime and its inability to address economic and social issues. The pivotal moment in Yeltsin's rise came in June 1991 when he was elected president of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, RSFSR, in the first ever popular presidential election in Russian history. Running on a platform of economic liberalization, political pluralism, and national sovereignty, Yeltsin secured a decisive victory, underscoring the public's desire for change. Yeltsin's leadership was tested in August 1991 when hardline communist leaders attempted a coup to overthrow Gorbachev and halt the reform process. Yeltsin's defiant stance against the coup plotters, epitomized by his dramatic speech atop a tank outside the Russian White House, galvanized resistance and ultimately led to the coup's collapse. This act of courage and leadership significantly bolstered his political standing and underscored his commitment to democratic principles. In the aftermath of the failed coup, the Soviet Union rapidly disintegrated. By December 1991, the USSR was formally dissolved, and Russia emerged as an independent state. Yeltsin's presidency was thus inaugurated in a context of profound political and economic upheaval. Yeltsin embarked on an ambitious program of economic reforms aimed at transitioning Russia from a centrally planned economy to a market-oriented system. These reforms, often referred to as shock therapy, included rapid privatization, the liberalization of prices, and the reduction of state control over the economy. While these measures were intended to spur economic growth and efficiency, they also resulted in severe short-term hardships, including hyperinflation, unemployment, and a significant decline in living standards for many Russians. The privatization process, in particular, was marred by corruption and the rise of powerful oligarchs who acquired vast wealth and influence. These economic disparities and the perception of widespread corruption eroded public trust in Yeltsin's administration and fueled social discontent. Yeltsin's presidency was also marked by significant political turmoil. In 1993, a constitutional crisis erupted between Yeltsin and the Russian parliament, which was dominated by his political opponents. The standoff culminated in a violent confrontation in October 1993, when Yeltsin ordered the military to shell the parliament building to suppress an armed uprising by opposition lawmakers. The crisis resulted in significant loss of life and highlighted the deep divisions within Russian society. Following the crisis, a new constitution was adopted in December 1993, significantly expanding the powers of the presidency. While the new constitution helped stabilize the political system, it also concentrated considerable authority in the hands of the president, raising concerns about the potential for authoritarianism. One of the most controversial aspects of Yeltsin's presidency was the conflict in Chechnya. In 1994, Yeltsin launched a military campaign to suppress a separatist movement in the Chechen Republic, which sought independence from Russia. The war was marked by brutal fighting, significant civilian casualties, and widespread human rights abuses. The conflict exposed the weaknesses of the Russian military and further strained Yeltsin's leadership, leading to widespread criticism both domestically and internationally. By the late 1990s, Yeltsin's health was deteriorating, and his popularity had significantly waned due to ongoing economic difficulties, political instability, and the protracted conflict in Chechnya. Amid mounting pressure and declining public support, Yeltsin made the surprising decision to resign on December 31, 1999. In a televised address, he announced his resignation and named Vladimir Putin, then Prime Minister, as his successor. Yeltsin's resignation marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in Russian politics.